Good evening, I'm Marcus Harun. Once Varengia reaches Hartford, he heads into the state capitol for a session. The year began with a huge snowstorm in the Northeast. Nicknamed Nemo, the blizzard dropped over 3 feet of snow. Those years that you spent there in prison, could you tell us what it was like? What kind of things did you have to endure while you were there? That seems like it would be a very big responsibility to be in New York where some of the attacks happened. At the end of the speech, President Obama is greeting students and he's sharing some laughs, but he also had some jokes during the speech too. On a hot summer day like this one, they can actually produce more energy with these solar panels than they use here at the fire department, meaning they can send energy back to the grid and save taxpayers money. The doors to the outside are locked at all times, and you have to be buzzed to get in.
Let's take a look at this iReport by Marcus Harun and see if it seems, well, kind of familiar.
Premiering for the first time ever on 360, the best technical team on television.
If he can do it all by himself, how come we need all these people?
Veteran service organizations, we've got your back tonight as a phony group that's been soliciting in the name of veterans is exposed. Red light cameras are being suggested for the larger communities in the state, those that typically have more pedestrian traffic than small towns. Arnie Wilhite has a lot of inventory that he doesn't know what to do with. He has been selling semi-automatic rifles for years at his store, Connecticut Sporting Arms in North Branford.
This is one of the guns they're trying to get rid of.
But now it's illegal to sell this gun in Connecticut.
AR-15 style rifle.
This gun too.
Same magazine, same caliber as the AR-15.
And this one.
Similar looking rifle. This is a .22 caliber.
The new gun laws went into effect immediately after the governor signed the bill around noon last Thursday. The bill also bans large capacity magazines with more than 10 rounds of ammunition and guns that use them.
That would rule out half of the guns here and I'd be out of business.
Many of the new laws come as a result of suggestions from the Sandy Hook Advisory Commission. Commission Chairman Mayor Scott Jackson of Hamden says he's heard a lot of criticism on the new gun regulations.
You know, I get 100 emails, talking about my work on the quote-unquote gun panel. It's not a gun panel. Guns happen to be an issue that people care deeply about.
The commission hopes new mandatory background checks and the ban on these weapons will prevent mass shootings in the future. But Wilhite says there's no need for new gun laws.
I think the regulations we have right now can be quite strict if applied properly.
The commission will continue to work on its next topic, mental health, at its April 12th meeting. Marcus Harun, Q30 News. Surgery can be scary, so it's a relief when a doctor says your operation was successful. Carrie Simon got the all clear after her heart surgery in 2002. Then, as she lay in her hospital bed recovering, something didn't seem quite right.
The infectious disease doctors come in, 2 of them come in, and they told me that I have some kind of a infection in my sternum where my heart surgery was.
Carrie, the doctor said, had contracted MRSA, a bacteria that is responsible for several difficult-to-treat infections. What makes them so difficult is that they are resistant to many antibiotics, and it can strike anyone at any age.
It's a big problem in athletes, in the pro teams, in the locker rooms. But there's so many antibiotic resistances that are developing, and it could only get worse.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say it's getting a lot worse. Their new report says at least 2 million people in the United States become infected with drug-resistant bacteria annually.
The American population doesn't have any idea of the extent, the numbers of people who are affected by it.
The CDC calls them nightmare bacteria, and they can cause potentially catastrophic consequences. But how do we stop it? Doctors say hand washing and hospital sterilization are 2 ways to prevent infections.
Usually hospitals allow 16 minutes between patients to clean a room. That is inadequate to really clean a room.
How long a specific bacterium or a virus can last in the environment on a surface varies widely from minutes to days and weeks. So hand washing is absolutely critical.
In fact, hand washing is such a big issue because recent studies say that up to 50% of doctors aren't following proper hand washing procedures in hospitals, and that could lead to the spread of deadly diseases.
Something in the hospital gave me that infection, whether it was somebody not washing their hands or a piece of equipment.
Through several operations, surgeons removed Simon's MRSA, and she is now back at home in West Hartford with her husband and 3 healthy children. But others aren't so lucky. 23,000 people die each year as a direct result of these infections. That's more than die from AIDS.
The CDC is scared, and I think they want us, I think it was a real heads up that they want us to pay attention.
The CDC says it wants to raise awareness about drug-resistant bacteria and get the government, doctors, and drug companies to pay attention. Marcus Harun, Q30 News.
Holy God.
Flames shot out of a popular off-campus apartment complex at 11 p.m. last night. Firefighters responded within 4 minutes of the first 911 call and began to battle the fire at Aspen Glen Apartments.
Fire had a head start on us. Once it got up into the attic space, it took off and really consumed most of the attic. Because it got into the attic and not into the apartments themselves, the sprinkler system that's in the building didn't control the fire because the fire was nowhere near the sprinklers.
Many university students live in the building, which is about 3 miles away from the Quinnipiac campus, and university administrators have reached out to help those affected students, even though the building is not owned by the school.
We are offering those students displaced by the fire an opportunity to move back to campus until they figure out where they want to live permanently.
So far, 3 students have accepted that offer to live on the York Hill campus temporarily due to severe damage to their homes. Though some apartments and belongings are destroyed, fortunately, everyone got out safely. A much different scene out here from what we saw last night. The building official, Bob Lubowitz, told me that 5 of these units here are too damaged for people to go back living inside here, and investigators are still trying to determine the cause of this fire.
It's still under investigation, but we have a fairly good idea as to what caused the fire.
Officials say they're not releasing the cause just yet, but it was accidental and started on the first floor balcony. Investigators and the electric company are on scene looking through the rubble. They say apartments on the other side of the building are not affected by the fire damage because of a fire wall that protected them. And those residents will be able to move back in later tonight. And that'll do it for our broadcast tonight. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Marcus Harun, and from all of us here at NBC News, good night.